for instance, I used to think like a priestess had to study with other priestesses for a long period of time. So that would be like in a group of women only, away from society, away from jobs and transportation and just like technology. And then they would be able to only do ceremonies and rituals and help people through life in a way that kind of reminded me of a church, you know, like a pastor or a priest, and how we typically think of them. Now, I didn't grow up in the church at all. Actually, I've never been baptized. My parents didn't belong to a church. They didn't care about that. And the good news is the good news for me, I got to explore things. They didn't really pay attention to what I was exploring, but they weren't really active in that either. So I kind of was just on my own with all that. But I realized that my definition of priestess was very narrow, and it was actually still within the domain of like a church, a traditional like Catholic or Lutheran kind of church setting. And so when I broke kind of free of that mold and realized that a priestess could be many different, could look in many different ways, then I was like, oh, maybe there's potential that I am priestess. And Nikki Turner, who is watching us too, also encouraged me to realize that people don't have to ordain you as a priestess. They don't have to say, oh, you're a priestess. I feel it like within me. Like when I started learning about what a priestess was at that in like middle school age, mid-teens, that like resonated with me totally. I was just like, of course, oh, women were leaders in the spiritual circle. That is amazing. And so it made so much sense to me in terms of my experience that I was having with intuition and with nature. And I also did a lot of creative writing at that time, and just the way the poems and creative writing would come to me, it was just like really incredible. And so when I learned about Priestess, it really made sense to me. And then, you know, as I learned along, I really came to this idea that like, I think the cellular memory of past life experiences is still within me. So I do believe that I was priestess once or many, many times. And that is still with me. I feel like I'm still carrying that on. And I feel like this is a great time in our world, the way things are going, that we need to bring back that priestess perspective and plant perspective. So that's why they're kind of, I'm putting them together